Hello, beautiful souls. My name is Zara. Welcome to the channel. If you are new here, I am new myself to YouTube, so we're in this together. I just did a reading yesterday for the new pink full moon, which is a powerful full moon, and it is for April 1st. And in the aftermath of that video, I had some more spiritual downloads today, so I thought I would do a little extension video, a continuation, if you will, of the previous reading. So I am continuing now. So one of the big downloads that I got that I did express in the previous first reading for the pink moon is that this pink moon is so powerful. It's about releasing the old, so out with the old, in with the new. And the more you're able to exhale and release out those things that do not serve you, whether it be judgments, anxieties, people, places, things, circumstances that are not pure and in alignment with your dreams, then as soon as you release them, that this full moon is so powerful that it has the ability to really help you manifest at a much faster rate and faster pace towards your dreams. But it's up to you to let go and release during this period. And then let go, let God. Now, if God is a trigger word for you, I often use divine spirit. I talk about divinity a lot. God, in essence, that I discuss is not pertaining to any religion particularly. It's more so all purity and all love that surrounds us in divinity. So we'll stay on that so you can release any trigger if that might be for you. So another download that I got, and this comes with some funny kookiness from myself and my personality, but oftentimes funny things happen, and I just like to share the story for the collective because I know that someone is meant to and intended to hear this. So in relation to the full moon, last night I got out of the shower, and I typically like to kind of put my hair in this light little ponytail kind of out of my face before I go to sleep. And there's this set of ponytails I use for like my daytime, like workouts and going walking and outdoor activities. And then I have my set of ponytails that are like pink that I wear that are super soft. I wear to go to sleep, like indoors. So let me explain. So I never say never, but I rarely ever lose things so quickly. So I get out of the shower and I always have my night ponytail within reach and I know exactly where it is and it's there all the time. Well, last night I'm searching and my human self is looking under my pillows and looking under my blankets and looking around my sheets and all around the floor. Where could my ponytail have fallen? It's nowhere to be found. And I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm searching and I'm searching and I'm searching. And I probably do this for a good 5 minutes. And suddenly my human self, my physical self comes to a complete halt. And I say, hold on 1 second. Divine source, divine God, in reasonable time, let me be revealed to my ponytail. I leave it in your hands. I leave it with you, and I'm good. I am good. So I put that aside, forget about my ponytail. I'll be fine without it, and I go about going to sleep. When I wake up, my ponytail is beside my face, right next to my face. It was revealed to me right there. I have no idea how that came to be. Now, it could have been, in my pillowcase, under my sheets where I didn't look, but I spent, again, 5-10 minutes just going all around and all about searching for this ponytail, and it was nowhere. And then suddenly I wake up and it's boom, right in front of my face, so my eyes can fall upon it as soon as I wake. And the purpose of this conversation, this story, is not to say that where or how it ended up being there. Divine intervention is divine intervention. No matter where or how it showed up with me releasing and relaxing and letting go and putting it for the divine and allowing the divine to show me. And when you go into that relaxation mode and that allowing mode, that receiving mode, then that's when opportunities are revealed. And that is when you receive. But you have to let go of the expectation, the pressure, the judgments, the fears. What if I don't find this? What if I don't have this? Oh, when? How? What's going to happen? That human ego that drives us so strong, that'll have us looking under our pillowcases, looking here, looking there, striving to find something in desperation. That desperate energy is not foundational in the spirit world. The spirit world is allowing beauty and effortless purity and flow to come to you. And you just being that beautiful, magnetic attractor factor that just pulls it in so beautifully with your spirit. And when you allow it to happen, that's when it happens in divine timing. So this full moon is so vibrant and so powerful, this pink full moon. And much of which I mentioned in the first read is I kept getting the downloads of out with the old and with the new. Exhale all that does not serve you so your dreams can be manifested at a higher, more powerful rate. Same thing goes for the ponytail story, right? So you have this dream. As soon as you let go of the attachment to how and why and when it will unfold, and you just trust. You trust with all your being and your spiritual self and divinity that it will show up. And know that it will, and release all attachments, ego-driven thoughts, judgments, and otherwise that no longer serve the highest good of that dream, and allow you to receive that blessing. As soon as you do that, it will happen. And again, energetically, right now at a much quicker and faster rate. And that's what I'm getting from spirit on a continuous basis, that this beautiful full moon is so powerful and so uplifting that it's just about releasing and allowing. And as soon as you do, it's all yours, baby. It is all yours. I got another very interesting event that happened today that, again, it's in alignment with full moon energy, and I'd like to share with you guys. So sometimes I channel things, divinely from spirit. Other times there are moments in my life where things happen, and as they unfold in front of me, I realize how much the spirit was a part of it and how much the collective could gain from this knowledge in this story. And many of you probably have experienced something very similar, but I'd like to bring it to your knowing and your attention just as a quick little reminder on this energetic beauty that we're encountering right now with the pink full moon. So today I was in the car with a few of my loved ones that I love to the moon and back. They are the loves of my life. And without giving any particular information away, one of my sincerest loved ones who's driving has stage 4 progressive cancer. And they work on their healing every single day. And they're just the most beautiful being, one of the most beautiful beings on planet Earth. And this individual, we are going to a baseball game. And by accident, there was a little bit of a fender bender, unintentionally caused by the driver, this individual that I love. And it was so subtle that we almost didn't even feel it. But we all stopped in the car and we said, wait a second, something isn't right. I think we might have hit the person in front of us. So of course we put our hazard lights on and come around to a safe zone because there's still traffic going and let other cars get by. And mind you, the car that we're in is a sedan, so it's a much smaller vehicle. And the vehicle that was hit ever so slightly was a very large truck. Not like a monster truck, not like an enormous truck, but it was a very large, hefty truck. And first, the driver, my loved one, gets out of the car and is having a conversation with the driver of the truck. And the driver of the truck seems very angry and has a very high-strung energy of upset and kind of accusatory. And there seemed to be, this back and forth engagement to where I intervened and I tried to carry just a calm energy about me in approaching the conversation and just trying to be a mediator and discuss everything. And I looked at the truck and there was barely a scratch. It was so minute that it was nearly confusing to why it was made such a big deal. But we absolutely exchanged insurance back and forth, did it the ethical right way. And I could feel the energy of the person kind of calming down a bit, but they were ready to get their entire bumper basically replaced and potentially with the insurance of my loved one. And it's pretty obvious that was an intention of theirs at the first thought of it. I look to my left, and way across the street on the opposite side of traffic, there's a gentleman that's kind of staring at us. And he looks at me and he shakes his head. And I realized that he had observed the entire scene, the entire scenario, exactly what happened from an outside perspective. And he gives me a signal, do you want me to come over there? And again, he's all the way on the other side of traffic. So he would have to cross 2 streets of traffic to kindly, as a stranger, intervene in this situation. And I said, don't worry, we've got it taken care of. It's okay. But when the traffic eased up and there was still conversation going on in the exchange of insurance, the kind gentleman who actually worked for an enormous tire shop. So there's a tire shop that he's standing beside, and turns out that the traffic was very slow at that time, so he was able to witness the entire incident. He walks across both the set of streets that was no longer busy, comes to the intersection, and he starts speaking in a foreign language with the individual owner of the truck. And he's going back and forth. And I'm going to reveal this language because I love the language and I love the people and I love the culture so very much. And it's Spanish and it's beautiful. And I'm not fluent in Spanish, but one of my loved ones in the car is quite fluent, and they learned on their own in university studies. So I'm kind of standing there just observing these 2 gentlemen talk. And then everything's handled. The guy starts moving to his truck. And the gentleman who was the observer from the tire shop, he looks at us and he puts a smile on his face. And I said, I apologize. I wish I knew Spanish more fluently. Thank you so much for coming over here. I had no idea what they talked about. And he said, don't worry, I know my English. Don't you worry. And he goes, I just want to let you know, I told him in Spanish that what has happened to you will soon happen to him. And I stood there and I couldn't quite make out what he meant by that. So he kindly smiles and he walks away, and the guy in the truck gets in the car, in his truck, and I get in my car with my loved ones. I close the car doors, and immediately my loved one, who does speak Spanish, turns to me and said, I heard some of that conversation. And I said, well, what happened? And he said, my loved one said, that he said, bro, you are crazy. It barely touched the vehicle. Why would you do something to this poor lady and her family when it's obvious this incident that you're making a deal out of didn't occur? You're local, he made some commentary like that. He was basically, as an observer, he was trying to calm down the gentleman in the truck and explained to him that this was very much out of proportion. And I have a reason for my story, so give me just a moment. And I realized, I go, wow, a stranger and a beautiful human just crossed like two areas of the streets, made his way over there to kind of calm down the situation and just be a beautiful mediator. And I had no idea what he meant. And then what I realized when he said to me, what happened to her will soon happen to you, he was basically making the gesture of karma, essentially. If you're taking advantage of this woman and her family and to what happened to her, this will soon happen to you in the way of the world, in the way of law of attraction. And the gentleman in the truck must have sat with that quite heavily. And then everything started to make complete sense. We kept driving. It was very, very traffic driven, and kept driving, and several lights ahead, the truck was still ahead of us. And suddenly at a red light, he stops, and it's quite busy. He stops in the intersection and starts walking to our car. He just gets out of his car while in the middle of traffic and walks to our car. And I said to my loved one, pull down the window. He has something very kind to say. I just felt it in my intuition. I knew what was to come. And he said, I'm not going to call your insurance. None of this is going to happen. I want to apologize to you. And I want to let you know that it was my dad's truck, and why I was so offensive or abrasive and angry is because I was very protective. And basically he said, this was nothing, and I want to apologize for making it something. And then he walked away, and we just said, bless you. And he walked away, and he got back in his truck, and everything was dropped. And he obviously had sat with it and marinated in that and realized, wow, that wasn't really a huge deal. But he also had, he was protective of his family member and his family member's vehicle. And that happens to so many of us, being protective of our loved ones, and how that can come across a little harshly to others sometimes. But the intention's pure. Naturally, I started crying because I'm an empath, and I just released my tears. And I said, of both gentlemen, Divine, thank you so much. Both of these gentlemen that was very pure-hearted and pure choices made through the divine. And thank you, thank you, thank you. It was beautiful of both gentlemen and their choices. But I say all of this because sometimes we have to sit with ourselves. And another download I'm getting from Spirit, from the universe, and I can feel Spirit saying with this particular moon cycle and leading up to the moon cycle, so you may have felt it quite before this full moon that's coming up, the pink full moon, that there's been a lot of heavy energy that, again, we have to let go to allow the good, allow the dream, allow the beauty to sink in. And sometimes we have to sit with ourselves and realize in ways that we can evolve. And sometimes it takes just a moment of realizing, wow, this particular shift is not only serving me and my highest good, but it's serving all of humanity. Another download I've gotten from Spirit is that there's been a lot of people in high angst and upset, turmoil, even with global events, with personal chaos, with things going on, that they've been pointing the finger a lot of finger pointing. And the opportunity here during this full moon is for a lot of people to beautifully sit with themselves and resonate on that. And as an individual that you may have felt you're the person that's the finger's been pointed to, maybe you're the person that keeps falling into situations where people are angry at you, resentful, hostile. Maybe you're very, very intelligent. You understand what's going on in certain aspects of so many things, and people aren't always willing to hear and understand the truth and be available and allow the truth to come in, the necessary intellect to flow. And because of that stubbornness, I'm getting stubborn. That's what I've been given from Divine Source. Because of that, sometimes people will react versus kindly take a beat and then respond. And with those reactions, I do believe this full moon is empowering those that have been very reactive to change and evolve for their higher good. It's also indicating to those that have been having the finger pointed at them, I'm getting, you cannot teach everyone. They have to be taught through the divine. In other words, it isn't your responsibility to change, to evolve anybody other than yourself. And you cannot do that. All you can do is be a beacon of light and be the change you wish to see in the world. All you can do is serve at your highest regard and be the best version of you. But you cannot change other people's perspectives. You cannot enhance their learning capabilities. You cannot provide them with another sense of an open-mindedness if they are not willing and able to receive. Receiving is such a huge part of this full moon, being able to receive. So it's an opportunity for individuals to open their hearts, open their minds, release their prejudice, release any difficulties weighing on their soul and their mind. And and when you release that, then the good will come inward to not only you, but all peoples in surrounding of you. The energy is very fluid and it permeates very beautifully. And as the person who is kind, compassionate, that has been getting difficult things coming your way, it gets worse before it gets better. I have gotten that message an entire week from the divine. It gets worse before it gets better. You probably had a lot of heaviness you've had to hold on to, but this full moon is about releasing that heaviness and only putting your focus on all the things that do work in alignment for higher good and on your dreams. Because again, being told that manifestation of your dreams is at a much faster and accelerated rate right now than ever. So to keep that focus and allow yourself to focus on all that is in the beautiful mindset and release all that cannot be controlled. Allow your control to leave. Again, you cannot find that ponytail that I was searching for without releasing, relaxing, and allowing it to show up. Be in receptive mode. And also, you have to be willing to receive, just like the other story shared. And then once you're willing to receive, all beauty aligns and kindness just naturally flows beautifully. I'm also hearing through spirit as one final message before I close this reading that a lot of people, because of difficult situations they've been going through during this full moon, particularly to genuinely, so not disingenuinely, to genuinely be open, not only to receive, but also to give a compliment. It tends to be that those compliments and those kind gestures can help be the catalyst. I'm hearing catalyst. Be the catalyst for that person's change and evolution. And they might not need to change. We're all always growing, evolving, learning, and changing in the best ways known possible. But that catalyst of kindness and love will really help that individual just see their beauty and light within and help them focus on their light and help them manifest their dreams like a boomerang effect. So you being that light and permeating that light, bringing more to the service with others is going to help them also be able to climb to the top with their dreams and manifest at a much higher rate. So giving a compliment of a genuine one, not out of need to receive, but out of desire to give, is also very beautiful and rewarding in this time period. So I hope you enjoyed my messages for today. Thank you for staying tuned with me. Again, it was so nice to sit with you all and to share with you all. If you resonate with any of these messages, just let me know below in the comments and what else you would like to hear from me, what kind of readings you would like me to provide. But without further ado, I wish you all your dreams, pure love, light, happiness, and health, and happy full moon. May peace be with you.